Hey guys, CJ. So Zontix has been cut from Spirit, and that's a pretty staggering move, especially considering they cut Magix at the end of the previous season. And now two of the five members of Spirit's major winning roster are no longer a part of the starting lineup. To replace him, they have brought in Tanir from Heroic. Now, Tanir is someone I've had my eye on for a while, and most of the community has as well. He's been putting up great numbers overall. And, just showing his data from the major in the past couple months over here in comparison to the field and his former slash new teammates, he's very clearly up there in the top right as a high firepower, high accuracy individual. And I know that some people may contest headshot percentage as a way to evaluate some form of value within a player's. And my answer to that would be, while it is not perfect, at the end of the day, he who clicks heads wins. And even if it's not optimal in every situation, when it comes down to it, Zontix is someone who is known as a body shot tendency player. Tanir is someone who is showing a tendency for high headshots. It's a complete sort of spectrum shift for the team and the type of person they will have on board. And at the end of the day, if you want to be really semantic about it, from the statistics, it is a higher statistical chance that if Tanir is entering or going up in a duel against Zontix, and Tanir has the AK, Zontix has the M4, Tanir is statistically more likely to win on first bullet, and other way around, he is statistically more likely to win on second bullet when he has the M4 against Zontix with the AK because of their headshotting tendencies. So while this data is not representative of him within Spirit, and within a system that supports him or doesn't support him in the way that Zontix is not supported, as they're obviously supporting Donk, he still is someone who is very clearly capable of having high firepower when the resources are given to him. And if they're able to get some percentage of that out of him within Spirit, I think it is pretty easy to say it's a direct firepower upgrade. Now, if we want to move into the roles that they'll be potentially switching over, a place where you can find a lot of synergy between Zontix and Tanir would be both Mirage and Ancient. If we look at Mirage on CT side, it's very clear that they're both B/Cat players. And if you want to also look at the T side for Mirage, it'll be a much more of an interesting rework for Spirit, as Zontix is very clearly their Palace lurker. Tanir is much more comfortable up mid/B, and we may see Zwei take over those Palace Lurk duties on T side, where he did perform them on Nemiga and performed very well. So the picking up of Zwei makes a lot more sense when you look at these cuts for Zontix and the roles that are now available to him, and potentially brings more cohesion overall to the team. Another similar example of where they find similar roles is on CT side for Ancient, which, while not exactly Spirit's top pick, they're both obviously Donut/A site players, with Tanir finding a bit more aggression down through mid, pushing even as far as T-spawn in some tendencies. Whereas if you look at maps like, say, Dust 2 and Nuke, which Dust 2 is the primary pick of Spirit, Tanir is a player/cat towards mid with some aggression there, whereas Zontix is very clearly their B anchor, rotating in to do his best more often than not through CT into A. That'll be very interesting, as that A rifling position has overlap with Donk, and so will we see them split up that firepower? How will they rejig things in order to accommodate, facilitate, and not try to snuff these stars in a way that some of their competitors have done to high-fragging aggressive players? Flamus, looking at you, VP, with everyone you've signed in the past 4 years. I don't know. But another similar conflict, not directly between the players, but in their difference in style, would be on Nuke, where Zontix was very clearly their ramp anchor, which was a role likely now to be taken over by Zwei. Another logical, like, oh, hey, cool. With Tanir finding a lot more of his tendencies towards A, squeaky, and looking yard, somewhere where you can have overlap with Chopper right now, and if I'm Chopper, I'm giving it up for the kid, wouldn't you? Donk is your hide the banana, see if you can get away from the scariest rifler in the game type player. So if you want to look at much more of their cohesion across the board, I think it will take a hit. Obviously, these Spirit guys, they didn't come up together, but Donk entered Tier 1 alongside Zontix, Magix. He won his tournaments, his major, his MVP. They've built all these accolades. They were an experienced team, And now it is just Shiro, Chopper, and Donk left over from that. Obviously, Hallie is still there, so the same coaching presence behind the team will be consistent and a consistent voice. But, Magix was always very much viewed as this glue guy. Zontix is, for whatever you believe in him about the headshot stuff, he is a undeniably top 4, top 3 individual in his role in the world, is a world-class clutcher and anchor, and to gamble on Zwei and Tenier being able to make up for that between the two of them by rejigging roles will be interesting to see. I think that Spirit has undeniably gotten a firepower upgrade from these two, but I don't know how it will affect their ability to be a team. That will be up to Chopper and Hallie, and I can't wait to see this team get it under them, because if they can make Tenier work and they can make Zwei able to put up his continuous, somewhat better numbers and show improvement over time with his placement, I think this team could be a, actual contender in the way that they want to be. They want to be challenging Vitality for that consistent dominance. And I think if Tenier is able to find his feet underneath him, if Donk just doesn't have to carry, if Donk can have more bad games where, okay, it's fine, just start throwing Tenier in there instead of him, and Tenier is capable of doing that. Not to the degree that Donk is capable of, but still to a high degree, and has shown his capability of doing that at Tier 1 during his time on Heroic, and pretty straightforward. I like this move. I do hope Zontix ends up somewhere well. Like I said before, he is a 20-year-old world-class anchor who has won a Katowice, a Cologne, and a major. Only thing he's missing is a Grand Slam. So he could go hopefully anywhere, but, who knows? Either way, I just wanted to give a brief rundown about that, show you some fun visuals that I've made. Hope you have a great rest of your day. I have been CJ.